All right, welcome back. It's Geographically Challenged, episode number 94, and today on Counter-Strike's best podcast, we are breaking new ground once again. This is the first live, in-person, online, remote podcast you've ever seen
This
in
is
Counter-Strike.
not a rerun. This is live. Confirmed here.
Now, I need to remember what we're actually going to talk about. This is totally new to me, by the way. I've got Pilski right here. But I guess let's start with you, because I know how Pilski is. He's up to some good stuff in my house. I'll let you decide what that might be. But how are you? You've been over in Bucharest. Did you contract any illnesses, or are you all good?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I contracted the deadly jet lag. Flying east always sucks.
No.
But no, it was good. I was at the Thunder Pick World Championship in Malta, where Furia won, and then I had a few days off. I was hanging with Dinko and Henry in Malta. Fun times. Always a good time with the lads. Then Romania, good event actually. All tier 2 events. Kind of sad we didn't see any Asian teams, but obviously they have Chengdu coming up. But
FlyQuest was there. Doesn't really.
FlyQuest was there. Yeah, true.
Asia,
I mean,
I
they
guess,
didn't make it. They didn't really make it deep, but I think they look pretty good. We'll talk about that later on. And then we had Aurora finally winning their first trophy for Zantara. So it was a historic moment.
What was it? It was
yeah.
like 40 lands played, 1 land 1 or something like that. That was a golden screenshot.
Xantaris has 750 maps played.
Wow. And he's won one LAN final.
And he won a land final. But yeah, that was fun. Here I am back again. Yeah.
All right. Well, what's the biggest news of the week? I mean, take your pick. Obviously, I am Chengdu on at the moment. We've just had the announcement of Thunder Down Under as well. So that's pretty big deal. We can talk about Murazrai's question about the best 5 elite competition. You don't want to talk about Senzu? You want to talk about Senzu?
We could touch upon it, I guess. I reckon.
Okay. Well, I mean, wherever you want to start, Bleh. I mean, how about you host the episode? Since me and Pilski are on the couch, it's like you're the
you're the host.
You're the host.
That's a shitty fucking couch, by the way.
No, it is. It's like two bar stools. But
Jordan doesn't even own a couch. Like literally, it is a full bachelor pad. This guy owns nothing.
I literally don't own a couch.
It's just like some fold-out chairs in the middle of a room and a TV. That is Jordan's house.
The fact that Pilski is telling that your place sucks is kind of damning. I'm just saying.
What the fuck? What is that supposed to mean?
He is sleeping on the floor, so
I don't know. Well, but that explains why he's pissed off. He plays anyway. All right, the Sock Senzu.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to, go through
Sink your teeth
therapy
into it.
basically. Yeah.
do
So
you want to start it, or shall I do the usual spiel and then we go into
do the
it?
usual spiel.
Do the usual spiel. Okay. Well, look, this is obviously a little bit old news at this point. Like, it's been probably now a week or a week and a half. Yeah, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It has been a little while since we had the opportunity to do an episode. Obviously, you've been traveling, Bleh, and Pilly and I have been busy with Chengdu here as well. So. Obviously not quite so hot off the press, but I think that kind of helps us a little bit in this sense, because Senzu, when that announcement came out that Senzu was benched by the Mongolz, everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, you can go and watch the video that I did. That was like an instant reaction. Basically woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning and recorded a video. And what I said then, I think will be very different to what I say now, based on what seems like the information that has now come out. I think initially when that information came out, we were kind of like, why on earth would Senzu potentially want to quit the Mongolz or be benched by the Mongolz? Why would the Mongolz want to bench Senzu? So your initial thought kind of goes to, has there been any kind of foul play here? Has he been up to anything that he shouldn't be? There's obviously been a lot of bad rumors happening within Asian Counter-Strike of late, whether that's gambling related, whether that's something else, as we've seen obviously with the Lynn Vision discussion as well. So there's a lot of stuff just floating around, and you think, okay, what could possibly have Senzu done here to get removed from the Mongolz? But
especially with like him coming into the team, there was some
exactly
some sketchy allegations that these fucking players just can't behave themselves. Just play the game.
But based on what has now been released a little bit more, it seems like that wasn't the case, or is not the case. Senzu essentially has decided, I guess, because he's burnt out, that he wants to take a break, and for how long that's going to be, we don't necessarily know. And I suppose we'll just have to wait and see whether or not A, he comes back, B, if he does come back, will he even be good, C, if he comes back, does he come back into the Mongolz? There's a lot of questions obviously still up in the air here. Also, D, what does Mongolz look like without Senzu? So I suppose that's all stuff that we can dive into here, but I'd love to get into it. Bleh, what's your initial thoughts on minus Senzu, and I guess plus controls as well? We can talk about that too.
I was having a nice little romantic walk around Malta the capital with Dinko, the fine evening, and it's like 4:30 p.m. I think, like 5 p.m. It's like sun slowly coming down. We had a couple of nice brews sitting there, and I'm like, man, this is a good time.
Life's great.
Life's great. Life's fucking great, right? And then I opened my phone up, and I'm like, let's see what's happening on Twitter. I saw a couple of people tagging me, and I see it. And Dinko's sitting across me with a beer, and he's like, "You okay?" I'm like. And I literally just went, no, right? Showed him like the news that he got benched, and I had my head in my hands. And that's a photo which I tweeted out as a reaction. That's a live fucking reaction. But yeah, listen, that was, I think shocking is an understatement, right? This might be one of the most, this is the craziest roster move all year. And I think one of the most insane ever, actually, if you think about it. It's one of the most, it's up there, right? Top 10, top 5 of all time, if you ask me. And mainly because it's so puzzling. You have a team, top 5 team, we're number 1 for a couple of weeks here. This is a top 20 player of the year as well,
that was the conversation
right?
very much, wasn't it? I guess that's in jeopardy now. I suppose he might still hang on to a top 20 slot. But
he might, but
we'll
yeah, I don't know. But he might still make it. But that's the thing. Like, this is a top 20 player till this point, and at that time, it was like he's been benched. So obviously, everyone's like, why else would he, no one's thinking about someone benching himself. You're thinking the orgs benched him. And obviously, you're leaping at all these crazy things. What did he do? Did he, mess with someone's girlfriend? And did he do, did he gamble? Did he throw a match or whatever? Which is fucking mind-boggling considering, sure, everyone... Turns out not a lot of people were aware of the entire Senzu NKT incident. So people were digging that news out. Oh, my God, he used to scam and shit. We know about it. And I was like, either he has a real problem, like a gambling problem, which is why he would continue doing this, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that was it.
Right? Because it doesn't make sense. Like, you're making more money than any kid your age in Mongolia ever has, probably, right? Yeah. So it just made no sense. But yeah, as the news has come out, I'm not sure whether to believe the entire, thing about just burnout or whatever. I think there's maybe an element of truth. Could be personal, shall we say, differences maybe with Blitz, maybe a couple of the players inside. I don't know. Again, I don't know. It could be the case. Like, for example, if everyone remembers when Shuhei when Shuhei left Mouse, it was kind of like it made no sense again, right? They were doing freaking great. Everything was amazing. And at least from the rumors I've heard, it was mainly about personal differences, not in like a very antagonistic way, but more like things were not quite panning out. But that, again, the big question there was, why didn't they do it at the beginning of the season? Why was it like 2 months in, which is a big question mark, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I think it's a combination of a couple of things. Burnout, maybe leading from perhaps friction he had with a couple of the players. I don't know. I know Mazzini tweeted nice things about him and whatnot, but I just don't know. Right, we don't know. And again, you got to remember, like, this team is such a very, very young team, right? There's the fucking bunch of kids, right? There's no real adult there. Blitz is the oldest at 24, and that's all I can say about it. And also just a lack of a support staff. And I was hearing from a couple of people involved in the scene, in the Mongolian scene, who were like who knew a lot about the team. They were like, they don't even like. I think it's Techno who places food orders at events for them, and he goes and like picks it up and stuff. I'm like, sure, he can do that, but it'd be nice to have a bit of a
just one
support
person
system.
Yeah, a manager of some sort.
Manager. I'm not even asking for a sports psychologist, but at this point, I think would be necessary, honestly, right? You have 5 very talented players. You have a coach. Let them concentrate on the shooting heads and playing Counter-Strike, and build a support. I'm sure you can. It's doable. You can't operate like it's like some bedroom org, or which I'm sure they are, but you've achieved enough. You made enough money right now. You have enough support from your country as well, where you can make this a proper system like every other top 10, top 15, almost top 20 team we have in Counter-Strike. They are the only anomaly when it comes to the way they run, right? I'm not sure it's all related, but I'm just looking at it from an overall picture. But yeah, just shocking, right? I even made a statement in one of the casts saying this could potentially catapult FlyQuest, the way they were playing in Bucharest, to potentially being the best in the region as well.
That's a very hot take, sizzling hot take.
That's a Sichuan hot fucking take right there.
That's a fucking. I've just
I would
eaten
assume
Chengdu
that
hot
Australia was good.
Yeah.
So
that's my asshole after being in Chengdu hot take. You know,
the Chengdu hot pot, man. I wish I could have that. Anyway, no, but like I'm just saying because Mongolz will still be a contender. They will still be a very solid team with the pieces they have. They can literally slot in almost any. Look at what's happening in controllers right now, right? Like we'll talk about that later, obviously. They can start in almost any gung-ho player from Mongolia, and they will still be a competitor. They will still be a top 10 team. Easily, 100%. They are not going to be a title contender. Because what Senzu did, what Senzu was able to achieve, was he was a star player who took a while, which any normal person should, anyone not called Donk, should take a while to ramp up and ease his nerves and play these big events. And that's what Senzu achieved just prior to Austin, right? And that is something the Mongolz, even to find the next Senzu, is going to take a few more months, kind of plateauing in the top 10 before they can, get to that level again, if they find someone like him as well. So it's definitely a massive hit. And I'm just hoping that... he comes back, obviously, down the line. Also, one more thing is, like, everyone seems to be like, oh, this is already planned out. No, it wasn't. Think about it, right? I mean, the facts are very obvious because Senju said this was discussed a long time ago. This is a long time in coming or whatever. Why did the Mongolz just randomly pick up controllers? It seems like a very last-minute
It's like the worst possible timing as well for it to happen. Like, if it was planned in any way, shape, or form, it would have been... Can we hold on until the major, or can we make this change a couple of months ago, for example?
Exactly.
I think it's just like something. I mean, I'm kind of on the same train of thought as you, Blair, where they can say that it's burnout, and I think I can like sort of see that. I can kind of take that at face value and say, sure, that I can believe that would be the case. But there's just something around the circumstances of this that just seems weird, where the timing of it. The fact that it's just so out of the blue, people are kind of like jumping through the hoops of the fact that they had been sort of skipping these boot camps. We've been hearing about the fact that they hadn't had any practice and stuff like that, and kind of like putting two and two together and saying maybe that's to try to give Senzu a bit more home time. I can kind of see all of that, and I can kind of like get behind that. I can understand that as an idea, but there is still something in the back of my mind that's like, everything about this situation is just so weird to me that even if okay, yes, we're understanding and taking the fact that burnout as the reason, why then could we not at least play another like month or two to get to the major, call it after the major, like have it be like this like final hurrah kind of thing? That to me would not seem like a particularly unreasonable ask to Senzu to say, can you do another 2 months and at least finish off this season, or for him to at least try to make that happen. It's just, it seems absolutely wild to me to have that be the change happening now. Like literally, like it was like 5 weeks out from the major when that change happened, and they're scrambling for the replacement. Like you said, they had to pick up controls. They didn't have someone, I think, easily readily available to sort of slot into that position. But anyway, Pilski, you've been having a chill here, so give us your thoughts on this whole thing.
Yeah, I think I haven't really thought about it that deeply, to be honest. I'm just kind of been taking it at face value, and I'm sure like we don't know it as much from a player perspective, but even just from a broadcast talent perspective and being around some of the players, you can understand how this kind of lifestyle, especially as a successful CS player, would get to somebody, especially a young kid, like people from a very different culture like Mongolia. Like I don't 100%. Know what daily life is going to be like for them, but I can imagine that not every personality, not every person is going to adjust to that lifestyle super well. And I think that it goes back to, back to the point that you were talking about, Blair, where it's like, sometimes you do need support staff to smooth things over and give a little bit more support for these people to adjust a little bit better and maybe be able to cope with some of the issues and the burnout and all of the different things that they have to tackle and handle. It's like two ends of the spectrum where are these guys the national team of Mongolia and diplomat visa status, or are they just a bunch of guys playing Counter-Strike that have to order their own food? I'm not really sure it's
the latter. And listen, I'm very sympathetic to it, right? I've seen tenured players, people who have been doing this for like over 10 years, still struggle with the burnout, right? Like it happens to everyone, dude, like, and that's completely understandable. But I just feel like all of this can maybe have been avoided if they're just not kind of left to themselves, right? It just feels like just too much to handle. And I again, we're just talking over asses here, but I really 100% feel it just can't be pure burnout. It's
Yeah.
a compilation of many things, which we're probably never gonna really know what really went down, but clearly something went down.
But
you know?
regardless, it's highly concerning because Mongols are very much a team that has caught lightning in a bottle and done something unprecedented. So any kind of deviation from what they've been doing
You
for
raised the
fans of
question.
the Asian scene makes you extremely uncomfortable. Are we about to nosedive back into the era of obscurity?
That's a big question mark, and I guess now is probably a good time to start bringing in that conversation of what happens in the future for Mongolz, for Senzu as well. I think let's just keep it on Senzu for the moment. I mean, first of all, does he come back?
What
If he,
did someone tag you on Twitter? They were like, Blade followed him on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's
He's
Jordan
going to
knows
Navi.
he's going to Navi.
saw that.
If there's one thing I know about Jordan, him and Blade, like this. They talk every day. They're always messaging on Telegram.
right.
Nice.
They grew up together, all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, we're pretty tight like that. But I don't want to spill state secrets, so I can't really confirm or deny whether or not
Right,
Senzu will be going to
you're a
Navi.
secret agent? Oh, shit.
That's
okay.
it. Yeah.
All right. That's...
You
I didn't know that.
didn't you realize by the fact that my house is set up like the way that it is with nothing in it that
True,
I've
true. Actually,
got like the hidden doorway that goes down
Right.
into my massive technology room of
Easy to
guns
fucking
and
throw the tarp
Dildos.
down
And
on the floor. When
dildos,
things-
exploding dildos, inflatable dildos, flying dildos. Anything you need. It can be a
thought-
dildo, but we can make it work.
I thought we weren't mentioning that. I
See
thought
that?
we
You ever
talked
see
about
that?
this before
You ever
we
see
started
that
the
video
pod.
where the guy's like driving the helicopter dildo through like a press conference? That's a good one. Yeah.
oh, I've seen this.
You seen that? And it like flies,
seen this.
and then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
security
yeah.
guards like have to hit it. Yeah, it's pretty funny. You guys should look that one up if you haven't.
We should
seen it.
100% clip this.
I mean, Jordan, it's really just a question of if Jordan gives a fuck enough about to edit it in. He does have a film degree, so he has the technology. It's just a question of
it's
if
not
he cares
easy.
enough.
I mean, I've been working hard these last couple of days.
Link it in
so-
the description, at least do a low effort. low effort play.
Motherfuckers does 1 a.m. and it's we're working so hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I have
yeah.
to take care of this guy as well while he's here. So
That's true.
I have
That's
to
true.
bathe him and make sure he goes to the toilet. It's like having a dog. But anyways, look, on the topic of Senzu, coming back, my concern would be, I think there's definitely a world where Senzu, takes a break or whatever and comes back. But how often do you see a player take a break like this and then come back and be at the peak of their form? Or have we already got to that point where Senzu's kind of like peaked and we're never going to see that same Senzu again? Like how well will he be able to maintain his ability to play at that level? I often find that once you step away, you don't come back in the same way.
He 100% can maintain it. The question is, and this is the gazillion-dollar question, or rather my doubt, what if it's not the Mongols?
Yeah, it comes back for
What if
another
he-
team. Phase.
Yeah, then it's not. I mean,
They need help.
They need a lot of help. I can confirm as of an hour ago.
let's not. They need a lot of help, that's for sure. But I don't think Senzu's going to fix it. Number one, because I think it works well in the Mongol system. I think it works well with the Mongol system, and also their English. Listen, they have pretty solid conversational English, but they don't have snappy, CS English, if that makes sense. We had I think Chat mentioned as well when ESL IM was it for Cologne? No, not for Cologne. Was it for Cologne when they had the 10-man face it
Yes,
lobby?
yeah,
They had
yeah,
Dong,
yeah.
Kyusuke, and everyone, right? And Senzu did say he struggled, and this is a pug, right? He struggled with English, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. If it comes back, it's going to be Iron Mongols, which is good. I think he should be able to slot back in, and they should be fine. But if it's any other team in Mongolia, I think it's going to be a case of score.
Oh, you mean in Mongolia? I thought you just meant like in internationally.
I don't think he's going to join an international team soon. It's going to be like Machine Gun.
Right.
I mean, better, obviously. Obviously Splice was
Yeah.
a Frankenstein's fucking monster from Temu, but this is more like, I think he could. It will take a while.
I mean,
think
any
frustration's gonna come
Mongolian
in.
team would definitely take him if they can get him. But
Yeah.
Okay,
And to be
let-
fair,
let- let-
Senzu
me
will
paint a
never be
picture.
as good as Machine Gun. No one will.
True.
Peak Machine Gun.
The machine's a goat. Okay, let me try and tell you why he won't work. Number one, he's going to be very alienated. One thing I know about these kids are they like Mongolian culture. They like the, just being around each other, right? Just having that connect. They're young. Remember, they're very, very young. And he has tasted success traveling around the world with his Mongolian friends, with his Mongolian team, with the Mongols, the 5-man guy, Mara. Now you're going to be an alien with an alien culture, you're going to feel alienated, you're going to be alone by yourself, traveling outside. You're going to have comm issues. It's going to be frustrating. He won't be able to immediately plug in and play the way he was with the Mongols. And I'm telling you, even if the other team is going to give him time and they might be very patient, he's going to get frustrated, 100%. And if he doesn't, and he manages to pull off what Simple did in Liquid, well, all the props to him. I will be very happy to eat my words, but I doubt I would have to.
I can't help but see how the burnout issues would be exacerbated in any other situation. If he's comfy in the Mongolz and he's feeling burnt out, I don't know how it's going to be easy for him to.
Let's imagine him traveling with FaZe with all the issues they have, and he's been coming in, and now they have to kind of integrate him while they're working on issues, which is clearly a lot. Their T-side look fucking horseshit, dog shit right now in Chengdu, and they're like, all right, come on and play in Senzu. It's like, yay, FaZe, amazing, carry good, and he's going to take forever to integrate himself, right? And then he's going to be more frustrated. He's going to be more alone. He's going to have to travel as much as he did with the Mongolz. How is this going to fix anything? Right?
I'm just saying, I think picking up Senzu would fix Falcons. Like, he's just
one more star player.
You know,
just one more. Think about it.
Fuck it. Why not?
Let's do it.
Fuck it, we ball. Look, obviously...
And even if it's super, like, you know, depressed and homesick, you can just take some, I don't have any money on me right now, and take some credit cards.
Yeah. Cha-ching.
So sad.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, this is one of those situations where I guess I'm just going to kind of have to wait and see. Like, we can go back and forth on this topic about what could potentially happen. But at the end of the day, first of all, we don't even know if he's ever going to come back. Maybe he's made his money. He's happy with what he's got. And we'll never see him in Counter-Strike again.
Forget about, like, Senzu
I can kind of respect that in a way.
Yeah, that would be kind of baller, to be honest.
We've got the 28-year-old talent that's filling his shoes.
Right, we didn't talk about that.
Fucking running it down.
I
swear, I think Controls legitimately has gone to IEM Chengdu. He's taken the God's Reign logo, he slapped it over whatever team he's playing on his monitor and just pretended he's running it down versus an Indian team against quality opposition. I thought this man was just a noob basher, would not do it on LAN. It turns out he is just fucked in the head.
I mean, the thing is, like, Controls... we've watched a lot of Controls in the past, Pilski, and... He's the type of guy that, like, if you put him in a position to shoot someone in the head, he'll probably shoot them in the head. Like, mechanically speaking, he's always been pretty solid. Yes, it's against weaker competition, but, like, he has, in some parts, kind of, like, hard carried his teams.
He's got that dog in him, man.
So I think, you know, you put him in Senzu, in for Senzu, and you just say, okay, well, you know, just do what you kind of do and hope for the best. And it's worked out okay so far.
I feel like I know why he struggled, because he's got to fucking, you know, manage that lunatic that's Cool Ass, right? Like, Cool Ass is such a fucking psychopath in the server. Like, just handling him would have maybe, you know, kind of drained him of all his mojo. And now he's like, wait, I don't have to call anymore. Also, I cried this joke in a WhatsApp group that we have where Pilski was like, and Control just pops off against God's Reign. I'm like, yeah, he probably doesn't have to call against them, right? So now we can see how he's looking good. I don't know, like, it's a sample size of one. Right.
Yeah.
It's a very good showing from him.
They're about to play again soon, actually, while we're recording.
They're actually going to play against Astralis right now, and honestly, I feel they're kind of happy they're not playing Na'Vi.
Okay, interesting.
Because Na'Vi have had Mongolz' number, like, I think, like, every fucking time they've played. Like, I'm just taking a look. They beat them in Malta. They beat them in EPL. I think even going back as well. Na'Vi, for some reason, when the Mongols are peaking and Na'Vi is sucking dick, Na'Vi will still absolutely destroy Mongolz. I don't know why. But Astralis have struggled against them. I don't think they've beaten them. Actually, they only played once in Cluj early this year. Actually, no, they did beat Mongolz. All right. But still, I feel like in current form, I think Mongolz, I don't know, man. I think they can still take down Astralis here.
Yeah, I mean, if they do, they make it to the playoffs of Chengdu at least, but then they'll be playing against...
We can even, like, just kind of, like, hazard some of the maps here, because Astralis doesn't play Dust 2. Mongolz like, cool, we won't play Dust 2. Mongolz not going to play Train, so that's out of the equation. What do Astralis like? They like their Ancient. Mongolz like Ancient. Like, they would be very happy with that. So Astralis is going to be like, all right, let's try.
Controls as well.
Controls likes Ancient.
He fucking
there we
loves
go.
that map.
And he didn't even have to do much on that map, actually, when they beat Heroic, right? Astralis like Nuke. Mongolz like, yeah, cool, we'll start CD side. We know how decent it can be on Nuke, right? Although that's when I think Controls will be tested, because Senzu's position outside, towards that area, towards mini upper outside, that's going to be tricky for him to kind of slot into. But let's see. Then we have Mirage being picked by Mongolz. Astralis suck on Mirage historically, so that's something Mongolz should be comfortable with. And then you have Mongol should ban Overpass, and then you have maybe Inferno as a decider, or Mongol should be comfortable on. So yeah, I can see Mongols winning this, honestly. So
Then they'd have to face Falcons or Spirit, so that gets a little bit tougher at that point. But
That
at that
would
point, they're
be
already in the
the
playoffs, so...
promotion game. Yeah, getting the playoffs without your star top 20 player, I think they're going to be happy with that.
Honestly,
right?
yeah, I think we have to sort of check our expectations a little bit here. Like, if Mongols maybe make top 8, you know, I think we can look at that and say top 8, probably not too bad. If you make top 4, then phenomenal.
If they make playoffs, it's top 6 is guaranteed because
top 6, yeah, that's right, yeah. So
which sucks ass, but yeah.
I think if you get there, then happy days really at this point. But the question becomes then, okay, we've used controls for Chengdu. Does that mean that controls is going to be the player that stands in for them at the major as well? I imagine
this is confirmed. This is confirmed.
Okay,
they are playing. Are they playing Hong Kong?
Don't know.
I'm checking. Real quickly.
I don't think so, off the top of my head. But even regardless of that fact, you know, having to
they are literally playing Hong Kong. So Chengdu ends in the 9th. Then they're playing Hong Kong immediately after that, and then of course they are in stage 2 or 3 of the major, right? 3, yeah. So 3. Keep forgetting. So they start. Taking a look at December 4th. So they have like a couple of weeks, like literally 2 weeks off, time to prep. So right now it's Chengdu into Hong Kong. And then 2 weeks
that's a
to
good boot
prep.
camp, right? Like that's a pretty good boot camp ahead of the major.
That's as like if you're talking about like getting a player in, getting used to like S tier, this is perfect.
I mean,
right?
To some degree, yes, but like at the same time as well, like they are playing like, you know, some S tier tournaments, and there is some pressure. It's good to like shake out some of the stage nerves for controls. Like straight into stage 3 of the major dry is a little bit different than
to be fair, 100%, and also the fact that every stage right now is in front of a crowd. Like yesterday was impressive, man. Like he was popping off with a crowd. I know it wasn't a big crowd and anything, but there were a lot of Mongolz fans. And if they make it to, let's say, the playoffs of Hong Kong, which is going to be a little bit trickier, you know, the fewer teams, much more higher caliber. If they do that as well, it's going to give him so much experience for him to kind of lead into the major. So look, they've made a decision, and one thing we've all learned over the years is have some faith in Mara.
Yeah,
I mean, for sure. This is, you know, interestingly enough, kind of like an anti-Mara decision. I was expecting them. I think a lot of people were saying like, all right, what cunt that we've never heard of in our life is going to get plucked out of obscurity. But yeah, interestingly enough, they go with a bit more of a known quantity.
I would think a bit earlier in the season, if this would have happened, you know, at the start of a season, and then they had like a good sort of 3-4 months to actually try and skill up a younger player, that might have been more of a conversation.
But because third cousin.
Yeah, because they're at that point now where it's like we're literally like a month out from the major. We need someone that is kind of a known quantity to deliver.
Who has experience.
Yeah, we're just going to have to pick him up.
And also, I'm assuming that Mara was also like, probably knows him.
Yeah.
Or even the players like, no, we kind of know him. This is how his mentality is. So it's like, I need a guy who's going to understand what I'm going to say and just agree and just go with the flow.
Yep.
Right? I would make the same decision as well. Because I feel like for the Mongols, trying to make it as deep as possible at the major is priority number 1, right? So let's hope for the best. And let's not forget, man, like we've seen Techno can step up if needs be.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
It's not like, you know, he's been playing all the... I was kind of wondering if they would move pieces around, put Techno in the star roles and maybe have controls kind of fit in the, you know, some of the bitch roles. They could switch it up. We don't know yet, right? We've only had a very small sample size right now.
I mean, in the map, like that third map against Heroic, like when Controls wasn't doing anything, Techno and 910 were going fucking ballistic. So, you know, they have the depth that they need in the team.
Dude, and then you have Mazzini, who we know, just because the role he plays doesn't have numbers, we know how fucking good he can be. And Blitz is Blitz, right? So it's not like doom and gloom. It's just that right now, when we assumed a playoffs placing for them, every event is a guarantee or is an expectation. Now it's more like, a little tricky, but it's still not like doom and gloom yet, right, for the team overall. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Just have to wait and see right now.
Yeah, I think we can wrap up the Senzu Mongolz discussion for a little bit. I mean, so far so good, obviously, at Chengdu as well, but that's prior to this match against Astralis. For those that are watching this as it releases, we don't have any info on
we could
that.
touch upon, I didn't get a chance to watch it early morning games, but like, you know, Tyloo and Lynn.
Yeah, we haven't got to watch Tyloo, but we did get to watch Lynn Vision yesterday, and we were kind of keeping up to date with the score today while we were casting the other game.
Lynn Vision are kind of getting owned. It feels like
they beat 3D Max.
They beat 3D Max. That's true. I mean, we were
3D
casting.
Max.
We were
3D Max
casting
is just
the other game.
question mark, yeah.
Yeah, but like 3D Max are kind of decent sometimes. Like I think that shows that you're. I think 3D Max is for me like kind of that gatekeeper team where it's like you must be at least this tall to
Wasn't
fucking
3D
ride,
Max like top 10? Weren't they weren't they like 10th in the world at
Yeah,
one point?
they
Like,
were 10.
they've
Okay,
had a decent
3D
run
Max,
of form, okay, like lately.
3D Max are insane because they played the Perfect World Challenger event, which they won,
Right.
if you remember, a few months ago, right?
Sure.
Then they flew to EU, did a few events there. I think that EPL? Yeah. Then they went to CAC,
Which is back to
and then
China.
they came back to Bucharest. And now they flew back again
China.
for Chengdu.
Fucking hell.
And then they're going to come back for the major. They are fucking mental. And they looked atrocious in Bucharest. I think a bit exhaustion creeping in as well. So I don't want to read too much into the performance. But look, Lynn Vision played Furia. Furia gonna, they want the
Furia
favorites here.
looked
Kind of rough for them. And they're going to play the loser of Mouse of Vitality. So
Tough.
good luck, buddy. It's kind of rough. It's unfortunate. That's how it is. Tyloo lost to Falcons. Yeah, like very, very lopsided. That was unfortunate. Now they play Pain. And after that, if they beat Pain, which is very doable, should be doable, even though Pain have looked better, they look pretty decent in Bucharest. Then they play the loser of Mongolz and Astralis.
Yeah, it feels like a doable lower bracket run, I think, for Tyloo. It doesn't really
Tyloo's
feel
way more believable.
that way for Lynn Vision. But again, ironically, it's Lynn Vision so far that seem to be performing a little bit better than Tyloo, as has kind of been the case, weirdly, at these international events. Like I'm always, and I think across the board for the three of us, we've all kind of been a little bit more of a fan of Tyloo in general. But results-wise, Lynn Vision have got themselves that win in the lower bracket against 3D Max.
Yeah.
Yet to see whether or not Tyloo will do the same against Pain. I think there's definitely a world where Tyloo just gets banked out by Pain and we go, Lynn Vision outperformed Tyloo again in another international event. Not by a lot, but it's still there.
But context is so important, right? Again, and also, by the way, for Tyloo, this is looking very grim. And this is the thing with the IEM brackets, is the fact that it's so ruthless. You have like top, 14 of the top 16 teams in the world, right? Now, for Tyloo, on the other side of brackets, you have the loser of Falcons of Spirit.
Yep.
Right? And then the winner of Na'Vi and Heroic should be Na'Vi. So basically, they're going to play at the end, if they beat Pain and, let's say, hopefully Astralis, because Mongols make it through. Let's hope for that.
Right.
They're going to play the winner of either Falcons, Spirit, or Na'Vi. That's...
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing them make playoffs, but a decent lower bracket run is kind of what we'd be looking for Tyloo more so. Bearing in mind that they are the team that is taking the stage 2 slot, I believe. It's Tyloo that has got the VRS points over Lynn Vision. Maybe you can check while you're there. But I'm pretty sure they're the team that takes the stage 2 slot, and Lynn Vision starts in stage 3.
The thing is, I don't know why we're making Tyloo do this. Like, why don't we just run it back and just fix the bracket for the Chinese team in a Chinese tournament? Like that would make a lot more sense and make sure they get in playoffs.
Fucking day. Yeah, boy, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I like that.
Yeah. I don't really have too much to say necessarily about Tyloo, just because we haven't seen them at Chengdu personally. Haven't watched that game.
I mean, we only got to cast the Vision.
Tyloo is stage 2.
You're correct. Yeah. But my thing is, I guess we can just sort of throw this in the direction of Lynn Vision a little bit. I just feel like something's off for this Lynn Vision at the moment. Even though they got that win against 3D Max, just, even the vibes in the server yesterday that we were talking about, Pilski, it just seems like they weren't really locked in.
No. I mean, we got them when they weren't on stage. I think on the on-stage game against 3D Max,
yeah, they were popping off.
They were celebrating more and they were getting a little bit more love for the crowd. But on the off-stage game, I remember Amelia won a massive 1v4 and there was just no reaction from anyone on the team. Like the vibes were non-existent inside of Lynn Vision, and I know that G was the vibes merchant before, but they need to be that team that obviously they don't have G to jump on the desk, but they need the boys to get fucking pumped if they're going to put together the upset.
Amelia is the guy. I feel like, remember what event was it? EPL where they didn't make it. It wasn't a visa issue. Remember that?
Yeah, that was EPL.
Yeah, and they didn't make it because of. They never said the reason why. It wasn't a visa issue, right? And then
is that a Bleh confirmed, or is that just an assumption? Have you heard
they did not. They didn't mention that it's a visa issue.
I think
Did they? I don't think so.
I can't remember what the wording was on the tweet. I remember the tweet was the same for both Virtus Pro and for Lynn Vision, and it was sort of semi-confirmed that Virtus Pro didn't make it because of a visa issue, but there was no word on what the issue was for Lynn Vision.
Oh no, for VP we 100% knew.
I know that's what I'm saying, but
right,
the announcement wording was the exact same. It didn't say anything about a visa issue, but the implication was VP had a visa issue. You'd think that that issue for Lynn Vision was also a visa issue, but obviously we don't have any confirmation necessarily on that.
I guess not, but I don't remember. I remember thinking about this back then. I could be corrected. I could be completely wrong here. Oh, here we go. 1 second. Call me Sue on ESL ban. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm mistaken. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. You're right. There was a couple of players had visas, but they didn't know it expired.
Right.
So ESL handed them a ban for something, whatever. So my bad. It's all visa related. Yeah, cool. But no, I feel like, as we all know, the elephant in the room. We've had issues with a couple of players on his team outside of game issues. So I do wonder, are they gonna stick with this lineup post the major?
It's just like, what do you do though? Like there just isn't another name that can potentially fill some of these players. You're literally just we're not putting a Fufu back in the fucking team.
I think the thing is, like, you look at the next team and Rare Atom is obviously trying to like make some changes, right? They're messing around with their roster. By the way, we haven't even really talked about that much, but it seems like Marek is in as a core player now, and Kaze is out. So like, I guess, is that the end of Kaze's career?
All right, fucking blend the Chinese teams or chuck Senzu in there. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like literally, it's like this is kind of my point though. Is like, if Rare Atom are going to they bring in Tiger, obviously, and then Marek's now coming in, and the results are just like still kind of piss. Like Rare Atom just doesn't look like anything of note to me.
Dude, I mean, I know why people are still surprised. Rare Atom, where there was a fluke 1 win they had and lost major. We know why they made it through. And I said it that back then. This team is dead. There's nothing going to happen. But
we were just giggling to ourselves when they were winning. Like,
I mean, how are you losing? Was it Fnatic? Was it Fnatic?
It was
Fnatic.
Yeah.
Like, how are you losing to a team we're saying is a dead team? Like, what the fuck?
And it was even better because the casters hyping them up so much, which, like, credit to them. Like, they made it an exciting upset, but it was just objectively hilarious if you know ball. Like, to watch that unfold.
It's like, bro, you're losing to the 5th or 6th worst best team in Asia. Like,
but that's the sad thing though, Bleh, is like Rare Atom is still beating Huns regularly, for example. Huns is the next best team behind
actual dog shit, right?
Yeah, but this is the thing. Then if that's the case, Rare Atom is like the 5th best team and Huns is the 6th best team.
Look,
then everyone else is fucking dog shit as well, bro. And my point is, if Lynn Vision want to make changes, if they have to make changes, where the fuck do they go if everything else that they go is the shit that they fucking pick up on their foot when they go for a walkout?
Wait, what's the lineup? I don't know.
I don't know. So look. Just to address what Pilski, what Jordan said, you have. It's like the Mongolz and the rest of Asia, right? The gap is massive. It's gargantuan.
It's a canyon.
And then you have Tyloo, then you have Lynn. It's pretty much the same. You can kind of say on paper Tyloo's better, but Lynn have the slightly better results. And then there's a massive gap right there. And then you have Rare Atom, and then you have the Huns and Chinggis, and then fuck all.
Yeah. So it's like, where do you find this Chinese prodigy that you need to replace one of these guys on Lynn Vision? I don't think that they make a change.
Hold up a sec.
So what?
Hello? Ni hao. Advent.
Oh, yes.
Holy shit. Can you tell him I'm his biggest fan?
Controls is 28. So Advent could be the young talent that we need.
Mr. Jordan says he's the biggest fan. What's that, Advent? You're gonna be jumping in the Chinese pugs for the next 3 months. You're gonna find a new Young Jam.
Oh, Young Jam. I like the sound of that.
And what's that? Pluto.
Oh,
shit. Yeah.
Pluto's not a planet.
Or is it a planet now? What's the current consensus?
I don't think it is.
All right, cool, awesome, thank you. I'll let them know. Newbie.
All right, awesome.
That was Advent.
Wow.
The goat.
Great. Oh,
hallowed be thy name.
I didn't realize that he was like watching this episode live, but that's great that we get like that.
Now Advent will be the one to find the new Chinese talent.
All right, please.
Can we not? What Rare Atom need to do is rent out Advent. Because he's an institution of his own. Rent him out for like a few months, and he's like, all right, you got this. put them all together. Boom, you have players there. There are players out there in China. I think Adam's proven this.
There will be, yeah. I mean,
But
the
yeah,
game is getting
I'm-
popular in China.
I mean,
for sure.
I like that idea better than the fucking Rare Atom Lin Vision, but I honestly wouldn't mind like a Child King Li Hung in fucking Lin Vision, some amalgamation of that. Who the fuck's gonna AWP if certain allegations are allegations? I'm not sure, but yeah.
I don't know either, but like, look, here's the thing. If you're going to be looking at the dog evils of of China right now, I just feel like you're just going to come up with dog poop most of the time. It's unfortunate. I would
Don't
rather
talk about Ronan Baby like that. Come on, I've seen him do things online.
Man, I've seen Rowan Baby do things which had me like screaming like a little girl, but let's leave it at that. I just feel like you need to go deeper. You need to pull off Amara. You need to pull off what Adam's done, with Jamyoung, Mozia, Mercury, and all that. I think that's the future for Rare Atom. Unfortunately, I don't know if they have someone who has the eyes for that. So that's all to say about that.
I guess we'll see after the major. I don't know. I think it's going to be hard for Lin Vision to justify making any changes if they continue to do okay. But we'll see. Let's move on from
just fork
that.
out some money. Fork out some money for Advent as a
You know what? Why don't you
dedicated
just
talent
give a
scout.
player to Tyloo for free and then buy him back for $100,000? That sounds like a good idea. Actually,
That actually sounds like a great idea.
good
You know
business
what?
move.
Let's put Senzu permanently on the Tyloo bench. I think that's a good idea.
I mean, last time a Mongolian player played for Tyloo, it didn't go so well. So
Let's try again.
let's go a little closer to home. Talk about Australian Counter-Strike again for a little bit here. FlyQuest at Bucharest. Obviously, you were there, Bleh, so I'm sure you've got a little bit to say about this.
I like them. I haven't said
that's
that in
good.
a long time.
Wow.
That's
Okay,
good.
I want to hear from Pilski first, though, because there's always been this thing where we talk about FlyQuest, we talk about Australian Counter-Strike, and Pilski's like this mopey little git, okay? He just fucking sits there, he's like, yeah, we suck, man. We kind of suck. We don't have any good
Fucking
players.
Eeyore out here,
Back
bro.
in my day, I used to play a LAN every 3 months, and then we would be able to be good. But what do you think, Pilski? Because surely now, as is the quote from one of our viewers in Discord, by the way, join the Discord, link in the description.
Yep.
Surely now you have something at least slightly positive to say about FlyQuest.
I think so. Like,
Hey!
even if they were losing maps, it was like very close, like 13-11s and shit like that. They were always pretty competitive.
Right.
I would have liked to see them like put away some of the maps like very cleanly, but it's better than just getting, fucking shafted in some of these events. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like the expectation for FlyQuest for a long time has been last place at international events for like 12 months running sometimes, and then maybe like a good event, or maybe like they won that one. Was it Atlanta that
They won
when Ali
Atlanta,
went
and then
ballistic?
last year at Chengdu as well, I think they won a BO3 against Cloud9, that Cloud9 roster where they like at least didn't come last in Chengdu last year as well.
We have this opportunity in this spot to qualify for these events. Like, I want to see, excellence to represent the region. And I can't fault FlyQuest. Like, FlyQuest is a great org that's supporting our region and putting together a really nice roster. This is the best possible circumstances in terms of org support and getting really good names together on paper for an Australian team to be successful, which is why it's almost even more painful and even more depressing when they play badly, because at least before you could have been like, all right, well, maybe it's this or that player's problem. Who can we scapegoat this time? Let's kick this guy. Let's try this. Let's get this coach. It's like, yeah, okay, we can fucking at least give ourselves a reach around a little bit there. But when you put this roster together and then it doesn't do well, that's more depressing because it feels like there's nowhere to go. So at least to see them play well in Bucharest is a nice change of scenery, I would say. I was more so like watching one or two maps here and there and watching the scoreboard than watching the games more closely. So I'm sure Bleh would actually have more insight into how they played, map to map.
Yeah. I firstly have to apologize to Azza. I was not familiar with the game. I did say initially that I don't know why you're getting Azza back, just the boys again, and I don't think there's going to be any changes. You guys are just looking for the vibes, and for Azza to just agree to what you guys want to do. No, I think they switch up a lot of cool things. And number one, they got ins back to star positions.
Oh,
CT
good.
side. Mirage, ins, and con fucking kicking ass.
Yes.
It's beautiful to see. Netic towards B. Now he's got to spend his time jumping, but guess what? That's a great way to just learn. Just learn, right? Just get better and learn. But right now they need to win, and I love that change. They also switched up a couple of positions for Vex side. I think on the T side, I forgot. I think it was a Dust 2, I believe it was. But a couple of positions for ins, they've moved them around to these kind of like star positions again. And it just immediately looking better. Let's look at the results here, right? There was a very close loss to Game of Legion that could have easily gone either way.
Yeah.
In the first game, Fnatic close series, but they got it done, and it didn't look like they were kind of struggling in that series. If that makes sense. I don't think the numbers really painted a picture of it being super close. It looked like just a better team. And by the way, Fnatic, a team that going to the major, right? They beat 3D Max, the perennial, gatekeeper. They beat them, and that too, they beat them pretty convincingly on a couple of, other maps. What else do we have? Liquid, again, overtime loss, and 10-13 on Train, right? And Train, you know how the map can be. It's kind of rough at times. And then they lost to Legacy, again, one close map over there, although they kind of got banned out on Overpass. Legacy finalists, I think they're, CAC champions. They're a very, very solid team overall. What I liked was the style of Counter-Strike was good. Inns was looking good. I think it was a little bit quiet, but Vexside was looking fucking great. It's almost like Vexside and Inns have had a new leash on life, and they look way more activated right now. Regali is always going to be Regali, very safe pair of hands, but it's not. It doesn't feel like him trying by himself to drag the team across the finish line anymore. It just really looks like a solid team, and that's something I think we've been kind of missing for a very long time, which is why I came up with that fucking wild statement. They might be the best Asian APAC team right now. Yeah, they're not, but in current form, the way they're playing, a couple of those days, I was like, damn, this is the best they've looked. Any Osh team has looked in years, right? Even JKS, he was looking solid. The team looked good. It wasn't just one player. My only worry, and unfortunately it came out to play in Romania as well, I'm like, in Shanghai, in Austin, they had great starts, 2-0 in the group stage, looking fucking phenomenal. We're like fucking literally filleting them with our mouth.
That's two majors in a row, by the way, that's happened.
I know. And then they go 2-3.
Yeah.
Right. And I literally said this on the desk by the end of day 3 when they were 2-1. I'm like, man, I just hope they make it out of the group stage. And it happened again. They went at 2-3. Now, I will say this. It was hard fought. It wasn't them just completely capitulating or, just sucking, right? So, and also it's not a major. So they have a month right now to really work on themselves. But from what I see right now, if they're able to build up on Bucharest, I can see them at least making it to the next stage this time.
Well, can you have a look there? And I don't think they're playing anything ahead of the major, right? I think they're just going straight into a boot camp. I don't think they've got any other tournaments.
Just the major and a boot camp. Boot camp and a major.
I mean, I like that they've shuffled things around a little bit. There's more than enough talent to go around. Not everyone can, deliver take all of the space really in the team. They have to kind of pick and choose who's going to be doing what at any given time. So, I'm glad that they kind of rejigging things a bit. It's good that you play a format like Bucharest right before the major as well. You get a little bit of that feel for the Swiss before you kick things off, even though, unfortunately, it's starting to become a little bit of a trend here for FlyQuest.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to hope that is not going to be the case. I think you may now be kind of starting to see the impact of having Azza. It was probably a little bit too early at Draculan.
But that was another
he wasn't also an official coach till then, right? Now was official coach.
He fucking rocked up in board shorts, mate.
So
he was standing behind them.
If they're making changes in terms of positions and stuff like that, I got to imagine that a lot of that is being led by Azza coming in and saying, okay, this is how I see the game and how I see us playing this game, and hopefully that's going to be a continued positive for them. But yeah, I think Bucharest, there's some positives to take away, which is quite nice to see in the lead up to the major. Do you have something else there, Bleh, or?
Yeah. I'm just taking a look at some of the maps as well, and just to because we are the APAC podcast. It's also good to highlight because I remember the other map where they switch player around, and Netic is now playing at in Monster on CD side of Overpass, right? And JKS is being the A rifler right now. So what they're doing with Netic is, I think it's struggled quite a bit because it's been putting in all these star rotate positions and whatnot. Is a new player coming in, right? Again, got to remember his experience is just the OS scene, hasn't really played internationally against high tier opposition. So I think on a CT side, at least they're trying to keep him in spots where he just has to worry about holding it
what's
down.
in front of him, yeah.
Right in front of him, doesn't have to talk too much, just has to shut it down. And we know he can shoot, right? So Mirage would be, they're putting him in Monster. I'm sure they made a change here and there on a couple of other maps as well. And instead they're like, all right, Justin, you're playing A on Overpass. perfect. I think it's great for him. The guy, he's sharp. He's fucking sharp right now. Have Regali and him over an Aiden makes sense. You have Inns as a rotate guy, right? Again, the more tenured player Inns playing towards Khan in Mirage, for example.
Yeah.
They're making changes right now to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's
and
what...
also and also just allow Netic to kind of grow in a more comfortable spot, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he
is
might
good.
have like been farming in those positions on Rooster and like against Oceanic opposition, but I guess they're kind of putting Netic in Liaz's roles and then putting Inns back where he used to do his best work. Really,
Right.
like this is where we're used to
100%.
seeing him. So I think it's a bit more of a comfort role for him, and I think he needs to stop kind of like. I feel like in some of those roles that he was taking and then IGL duties as well, I feel like it can be quite easy to just start to adopt the mentality of like, I'm not going to be fragging this game.
Yep.
And Inns is capable of such like heavy impact that like, I never want to see him have that mentality.
It doesn't even need to be. I mean, look, obviously that's kind of like the quote unquote meta, but like there are teams that have their IGLs in positions to make a kind of an impact. I mean, Vitality obviously being one of the key ones. Apex is someone that, he kind of likes to get into the thick of things, and he does typically frag reasonably well. So, you can kind of follow that formula if that's, what works for FlyQuest. I guess we'll have to wait and see in the near future. And I think, again, looking at Stage 3 and looking at the teams that they're going to be going up against, I think it's definitely a world where it feels like you could imagine that they could make it out of Stage 3 and go into Stage 2, certainly.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Surely. Yeah. I would 100% put money in them making it out of Stage 3 this time.
There you go. That's a positive take from Bleh and Pilski about FlyQuest. The future
That's a Bleh
is
guarantee,
looking
motherfucker.
bright.
This is what happens when they play good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We say good things about them when they play good.
All right,
Yeah.
well, how about this then? Is the future bright for Oceanic Counter-Strike in general? Because there has been a bit of moving and shaking happening that I don't think has necessarily gotten deep into the psyche of the international fans just yet, but have you heard of Thunder Down Under?
Yes,
Australia's
yes, I
new
have.
best team that hasn't played a single
And-
game yet.
And I had a couple of drinks, all right? And I was in Thunder.
Really?
As you
Blair.
do. Blair, you.
No way. I could
Must have
not.
been a special occasion, man.
Yeah. Well, why? What was the occasion?
Oh, yes. So Mongolz play. I was like, let's really have a drink. So, anyway, I had a couple of drinks. It's the evening. And I opened the thing and I see Thunder Down Under. And you got to remember, it was also Thunderpick I was at.
Right.
And I was like, I was so confused. I'm like, what? Is this a real team name? Like,
It's going to
is
be a
this
tournament.
meme? Is this a tournament? It took me like at least a couple of minutes to kind of gather myself. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a real team. This team's going to fucking farm.
Yeah.
It's going to
Probably.
farm there, dude. Like, holy shit.
Probably. It depends. I mean, at least
They will take Rooster's
at least
spot.
once they leapfrog the domestic
100%.
scene, whether they will farm depends how much they care, I think.
Yes.
But at least domestically, they could probably never practice and they'll be at the minor.
We should probably give the TLDR on what is Thunder Down Under for anyone that's watching along and hasn't been up to date with the
People
news.
don't
So,
know.
Thunder Down
Yeah.
Under is a new team that comprises of Dexter, Liaz, Ali. So that's the core three of the old Greyhound lineup, plus ASAP and TJP, two players obviously coming through from Rooster. And they've very recently been announced as a new team, I suppose. There's obviously questions as to what's now going to happen for Rooster. Does Rooster still exist? But
Rooster's surely dead.
we will see. It seems like that might be the case, yeah, because Slimy's now out of Rooster as well. So I don't think they even have core three, though they are playing the current season of ESL Challenger League, like the current cup, I should say, of ESL Challenger League with ASAP still. So I don't think we're really going to get to see Thunder Down. Oh, and also I heard, by the way, that Rooster's going to still go to Extreme Sand with core as well. So I imagine this Thunder Down Under roster, we probably don't get to actually see them do much until next year. I think ASAP and TJP might still be kind of like in and out of Rooster until the end of the year, because there's not really much for Thunder Down Under to play in Australia anyway. There'll be like a CCT Cup, and that's kind of it.
They're going to have to put in the hard yards to climb back up the VRS.
Well, that's it. That's going to be the thing. And this is where, like, Bleh, you obviously asked that question, or Pilski, I think you were the one that brought it up there, where it's like, at what point does this team actually kind of like need to lock in? Like, is Thunder Down Under like a for-fun team? Is it just Dexter, Liaz, Ali kind of going like, yeah, we'll have another crack and see what we can do in Oceania, just play for fun? my 2 cents on that would be, if I'm ASAP and TJP, who have been guys that have been grinding away for a long time, I'm not joining this team unless it's like, yeah, we are actually going to try and practice. We are going to be serious, because you look at ASAP and TJP and they're still like in that position in their career where they feel like they're kind of like hungry for the next thing. Could have maybe gone into a Semperfi at some point. I've heard rumors about ASAP potentially heading in that direction in the past. Obviously that didn't end up happening. But ASAP and TJP, why would they leave Rooster, which is currently the second or third best team in Oceania, to join a team that's not a serious team? You know, like, I still think this has to be a serious team for them to go in that direction.
I will answer that very easily. I believe it's a serious team as well, so. Right? It is an old team, though. Are you looking at, Liaz didn't look good at the end of his tenure.
Internationally, this is the difference.
Sure, fair enough.
But like, he literally looks like a fucking god when he comes back to domestic play. He goes from being like the worst player to be like, holy shit, this guy can do no wrong.
Ali looked at Modesty when he was coming back, right? It was missing everything there. And Dexter, maybe it's like him trying to. It was a pretty ignominious exit for him.
Be a bit
as
of a
well,
fuck
right?
you to FlyQuest to come back and like drop a new team here and like come and do really well in Asia.
Yeah, it could be. It's trying to prove something to themselves, I believe, and that means they're not going to fuck around. For TJP and ASAP, it's an opportunity to play with some of the biggest exports your country's ever produced, right? Now, whether that directly leads to
success
or VRS points or getting picked up by a better team, I don't know. But I think the learning experience is what you need to look at. They're very young, by the way, like 20, 22, 23 or something. They're still very young. Just try and pick up as much as you can from a live playing environment with someone like Dexter, who has coached multiple international teams. You got to play with Ali, you got to play with Liaz. They have insane experience you can't buy in Oz, right? So I think that is what they need to look from the short term. Long term, we'll see.
My take on it would be, I think it's kind of just like the natural step for ASAP and for TJP, in that, it feels like Rooster's kind of run its course a little bit, right? Like that's been a team, a core that's been together for a very long time, and
they've had musical chairs with the fist spot for fucking ages,
and they've had their moments. There's no doubt that Rooster, as a team, has definitely had some pretty high highs. Like they've qualified to quite a number of international events. They were at times the next best team in Oceania behind FlyQuest. People even had hopes that they might be a better team than Greyhound at one point when Nidek was still on the lineup.
So close, but
it never really eventuated. And you're kind of looking at the lineup now and saying, well, is it ever going to eventuate? Right? You've got Chell, you've got ASAP, you've got TJP. They've all been there for ages. Slimy in and Terry in, and it's just kind of like treading water. And it has been for a long time. And they've been playing second fiddle to Semperfi. So I think it's only natural for some of those players on that lineup who were the better players in the lineup, right? In I think for me, like the real core of Rusa that you would say these are the guys that feel like they deserve to take a step in a more positive direction would be Chell, ASAP, and TJP. Now, it's very unfortunate for Chell that it's kind of gone in this direction without him. But the reality is that he's an AWPing in-game leader, and he's a player that has his system. He has his way of doing it, and he doesn't necessarily fit into anybody else's system. So he's the kind of guy that just gets left behind and ends up being the guy that he has to build a team over and over and over again. But
if it was going to happen for Chell, like it would have been like Chell into Greyhound for Sterling or something like that at the time.
Again, by the way, years and years and years ago, even I think maybe even before, might have been before Sterling or before Ali or something. Like I'm talking way ago, like ages before Greyhound was, I'm talking like 2015, maybe not 2017, 2018, let's say. Somewhere around there was rumors that Chell was invited or asked if he was interested in joining Greyhound at that time. And that would have been when
I've heard of this.
It needed to happen for him. But now, he's obviously stuck with Rooster and it's gone in this direction. So I don't necessarily begrudge ASAP and TJP for kind of like looking at this opportunity. The other option would have been, can they find their way into something like a Semperfi and go from there? But I think this is definitely a team that will be very interesting to watch going forward. I am quite looking forward to seeing, that domestic matchup between Semperfi and THUNDERDOWNUNDER. I think that's really going to shake things up for Semperfi, who have been on top lately. I still think Semperfi is going to be a tough team to beat in the near future. Maybe in the next 6 months, things could sort of change up. And then at that point, because Semperfi have gone and played in Asia a couple of times now and not had success, I kind of want to see what can THUNDERDOWNUNDER do, because the core of that Dexter, Liaz, Ali roster in the past was a team that did very well in Asia historically. Now, that did fall off a little bit when Tyloo and Lynn were on the rise, but I'm looking at like Rare Atom and Huns qualifying to a major, I'm like, that's a position that I'm sure this team is looking at and saying that's where we're kind of aiming for. Like, we need to be a 5th or 6th best team in Asia, and maybe we can sort of swindle another major or two with the old guard, and obviously ASAP and TJP very hungry for their first major if they could make it there. So I think a very interesting sort of upcoming 6 months for Thunder Down Under and Semperfi in Oceania, and then pending whichever team sort of comes out on top in that battle, what can they do when it comes to Asian competition?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, this really sucks for Chelios because, look, I think say what you like about him, but he's been a very talented player in Oceania for a very good number of years. And this might be a very difficult position for him in his career now. I just don't really see where he's going to end up at this point. Unfortunately, he's kind of been left by the wayside a little bit. I think ASAP is a gun. I think at times ASAP even looked better than Nedic on Rooster. Maybe didn't put up the numbers because Nedic was in those positions running around in the rotations and fragging and fucking hunting down ecos and doing this, that, and the other, just farming in Oceania. But in terms of the impact rounds and the eye test, looking at ASAP in some of these rounds, you could really tell that this guy is fucking switched on. And he has some serious fucking talent. What did you say?
The analyst.
The analyst.
That's what we call ASAP down here.
Oh, really? The analyst?
Yeah. Have you never heard that before?
I've never heard that.
Okay,
Interesting. TJP, he's a very up and down player.
I am interested to see how this works.
But he is a fucking vibes merchant. I don't even think he needs to fucking do anything that special. He needs to sometimes have a TJP half. Sure. Every now and then. He needs to be a fucking vibes merchant. And I think he needs to do similar to what he was doing in Rooster sometimes, where he just needs to do some bitch rolls. Like, he'll be fucking throwing a Mac 10 and he's just going to have to fucking send it. But he's the kind of guy that he'll just laugh about it and fucking run through a brick wall. And if he dies, he'll be like, oh, well, fuck it.
Here's the thing, though. TJP and Dexter. I wonder how they're going to get along.
There could have been two more different personalities.
Exactly. And if you remember when Neil M was the coach for Greyhound and he eventually got removed, like the whole thing with Neil M was like he was a vibes merchant coach, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that kind of grated on the team a little bit. That was what I heard.
It'd definitely be too much for Dexter.
I've worked with him. I mean, not worked with him directly, but I've seen when he was coaching Mouse. But no, it wasn't Mouse. Was it Mouse?
No, I don't think he ever coached at Mouse.
No. I'm talking about the crazy team. I don't know if you guys remember. CR4ZY. It had like Nexa and all these guys, right?
Esperanto. Where the fuck does that guy go?
No disrespect to anyone. I think sometimes it's good to have a vibes coach, right? Depending on the team. But Neil is pure. He was the greatest vibe coach ever, right? It's very different.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, is that going to clash with Dexter's approach to the game and philosophy? I don't know. We'll see how TJP and Dexter
I think if they get around it, it could be a tool because I feel like that core is a core that can go a little bit emo sometimes. Like between Dexter and Ali.
Well, Ali and TJP in the same team, by the way. That's going to
be loud. You're going to hear them through the fucking noise cancellation.
Dude, can we all not forget like what the biggest issue with not biggest issue per se, but like one of the biggest
talking points,
obvious things, talking points for them was when Ali left. It was just like grim, right? Overall.
Yeah.
Also, when Dexter got kicked again very quickly, I kind of feel the back of my mind. It's just a vibes issue. You know, Dexter had a different ideology. They were like, kind of work with him, personality clashes or whatever. And I think TJP, from what I know of him, and I played a couple of Prem games when I went on Sydney. It seems like a very fun fucking guy, right? And I think it's good to have two of those, apart from Ali as well. Just Ali being a hard carry, just Ali just concentrates on AWPing. I'm curious. I really am, and I hope this is the thing.
The core three have dominated the Oceanic scene, so that is the bare minimum as far as I'm concerned. For a team with Dexter, Liaz, and Alistair, the amount of winning that this team has done in Oceania, it should be a foregone conclusion that they qualify. That's no disrespect to Semperfi. I think, honestly, even just the fact that this fucking team has been formed is almost like throwing down the gauntlet to Semperfi. Like, you have to beat this team at this point. I know that Semperfi is the established team and the team that has won, multiple of these Challenger Cups and things like that. They're on the VRS, blah, blah, blah. You can fucking spook about it as much as you want. But at the end of the day, we've been casting OCS for, 10 plus years at this point. I've never seen a core that has won so much and dominated Oceania as much as these Dexter, Ali, fucking Liaz teams.
Sure.
They just rock up. It doesn't fucking matter. If it's a day that ends in Y, they win the qualifier in Oceania. So, that is the bare minimum expectation. And I think if this team clicks, there's not a fucking thing that Semperfi can do about it. And that might make me a Semperfi hater, but Like that is what I'm expecting.
All right. Yeah, well, I mean, that's got me excited for next year. I think it'll be cool to see those two teams kind of like duking it out because it does feel like the Semper Fi versus Rooster rivalry became pretty one-sided at one point. So
and I think
new.
like Semper Fi, like you said, haven't had that success internationally. Like I think if they get tested by a team like this domestically and they actually start to come out on top, that's going to be the kind of caliber of a team that might be able to do something in Asia. But if it's just like mediocrity playing against each other in Oceania, then I don't think it's ever going to get
mediocrity is that Far East Russian player though. Like he's not on this team. I don't know if you know that, but anyways, yeah. Let's move on. We've got one more thing to touch on before we end the episode. Just a quick question here from Murazrai from the last episode. He said, "What's your take regarding Maestro, a Korean team winning Best 5 Elite competition by beating Ravens and Sabutai KR?"
Oh, well, I'll let
So
Bleh
do you want to take that one?
No, I think Bleh should take that one. I think he...
I'm good. I just have no idea what that
Bleh, what
is.
do you think about that, man?
I think that's. I personally feel. I think that's great. I haven't heard from that region in quite a while, and the fact that they're able to take down a couple of the aforementioned teams, I think, gives me some hope for the future that it might see the rise.
This is what you do on the desk.
Japanese Counter-Strike.
You just fucking say the
And
same
that-
shit.
and
And
that is
that's
why
Koreans
you
go,
get
like,
paid the big bucks.
you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, look,
I actually don't know about these guys, dude.
yeah, no. Murazrai, I will say he's an absolute G because this guy, he's like fucking locked in on the Japanese and
Oh, no,
Korean scene.
I know Murazrai. I know him. Like, I know him better than the teams he just mentioned. That's just saying.
Literally, that's actually the thing. Is like Murazrai, for this question, like we actually don't know these guys that much at all. I'm really not up to date with the teams that are in that like level of competition. So you're probably a better person to answer this
probably
question
knows better than all
than
of
we
us,
are.
honestly.
Actually.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
What I will say is I was just having a look at the team that qualified from that region for Extremes, and it was that Ravens roster, and Ravens have got Rip Pablo on the team. You remember Rip Pablo Escobar? He's back.
Rip Pablo Escobar's back?
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit. And Raven?
Oh.
Yes,
On
that's
Ravens.
amazing.
And Spawn Jr., obviously the Japanese son of Spawn, the 1.6 player that, of
amazing.
legend.
Couple of Brazilian flags there as well, so they must be.
Okay,
those,
I'm taking a look.
There is a pretty big, like,
that's what-
Brazilian-Japanese
that's what,
crossover
look,
population.
It's really cool.
Japanese
It's really
Brazilian, I
cool
think.
for Maestro to win, but also you look at the Subotai KR lineup with the Mongolians, and let's be real, guys. We know quite a few unknown talent in Mongolia, but I've never heard of a single one of these guys.
Yeah, you just wait.
Like,
Mara's going to pick one of those guys
mental
for
play.
the Mongolz.
Norojte, Fesco, Rexerin, Beck.
Beck, the
Beck.
fucking band.
Beck the Wreck. Yeah.
I want to have a Beck.
I mean,
here.
unfortunately, Maestro also didn't make it to Extreme Sand through the Korean qualifier. So, they might have won this Japan-based tournament, but they didn't qualify to Extreme Sand. So we'll see Sensation there instead, which, again, like who knows who those guys are. We'll have to wait and see. Every time we go to an Extreme Sand, there's a new Korean team that comes and plays and gets absolutely wrecked, and it will be no different this time around, I'm sure. But that's pretty much all we've got to talk about for this episode. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we say goodbye?
I mean, I was
we
freaking
are-
over in Thailand at Ascension about talking about Korean teams, how good Zine is because he never actually played Valorant. So I mean, as far as Korean sensations and talents, that's the one that has recently crossed my mind.
He is the GOAT. I'm watching the Astralis Mongolz game right now. Obviously, by the time the episode comes out, the game would be done. But Astralis picked Inferno. Mongols picked Nuke. Mongols went with Inferno because I guess they just want to stick with what they're comfortable with controls coming in, and obviously because they didn't play Mirage yesterday.
Ancient
and we have
decider?
Ancient as a decider.
Yep.
Okay.
There you
So,
go. You do know
could
what
be
you're
a fun
talking
game.
about a little bit. You don't just say random shit and replace the team
Yeah.
names.
It's so dependent. It's so dependent, honestly. But no, good to be back. Hopefully we have more episodes. Unfortunately, I was away. Pilski was in Thailand. And here we are now.
I am a
we're
Thai
back.
guy. I'm going to cook up some chicken thighs for Jordan
I'm
right
actually
after
starving.
this with some pasta. So
Yeah.
I'll give you my.
We've
Oh,
literally-
is that how we you give him a spot on the floor to sleep on and it gives you like good food? That doesn't sound like a fair trade.
Well, actually, I paid for the fucking food for what it's worth, by the way. So we did go to the shops. Pilski conveniently forgot his wallet.
I forgot my wallet.
So I had to pay for it.
I forgot my wallet.
Man, it happens all the
I
time.
said, "Can't you
to
pay
me.
with Apple Pay?" And then he tried, and it didn't work. So
I filled up the shopping cart. I ran up a $500 tab. Most of it
Yeah.
was alcohol. I just forgot my wallet. It's unfortunate. These things happen.
These things happen.
What alcohol? That's important.
I've been pumping the ciders. Jordan refuses to drink, by the way. I need your help here, Blair.
I shit myself last time I
He is on
drank,
the
so-
clean bachelor life. He's
You
only
shit yourself. How much? You don't have to drink that much. Just have a couple of drinks. do a
No, I
couple of
didn't
bread.
drink much,
You had
and
a drink
then,
and you
and then
shit
I got the shits. So I think I'm allergic to alcohol or something, but we'll figure that
I
out.
think you're a pussy.
Yeah, well, you are what you eat,
Well-
Blair. You wouldn't understand that, but that's all good. You'll get there when you get older.
All right, you fucking cock. All right,
All right.
that's it.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. But I will say before we go, buymeacoffee.com/elfishguy because I need to buy Pilski some soap. He's been showering with just water. So if you could help us out with a couple of bucks so he could buy some soap for the Elfish studio, that would be much appreciated. Of course, if you don't want to give us money, a comment would be lovely. Ask us a question for the next episode.
Tell us who the next up-and-coming Korean player in Counter-Strike is at the moment.
Yeah. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace. Hey guys, just at the end of that video and heading into 2025, I want to give a massive shout out to Jean, who has been a big supporter of mine on buymeacoffee.com/elfishguy. She's been a member for over 12 months. And if you'd be interested in supporting my content and getting this content grind going, then head over there as well and check it out. Thank you very much.